Hello, my name is Yogendra Joshi and I welcome you to the fifth tutorial on macro photography. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about magic angle. Before we get into the technical discussion about magic angle, let's talk a bit about depth of field. Now, what is the depth of field? Depth of field is that area of your photograph which is in crisp focus. Now, in macro photography, it is very important to pay close attention to depth of field because when you are reaching 1:1 magnification or going beyond, the depth of field is absolutely razor thin and you need to figure out how to use it appropriately while creating a great looking result. Now with such a small depth of field which could be just a millimeter or even part of a millimeter, it's possible that only a very small portion of your photograph is in focus and the rest of it is blur. Obviously the blur is in the gradient form starting from the crisp depth of field, going both front as well as back. While small depth of field can give some stunning results, it's generally a major challenge for a macro photographer as to how to manage that depth of field correctly. While you may get some parts in perfect focus, if the rest of it is a blurry mess, then it practically kills the image and we need to solve that problem. While the term magic angle is probably as old as photography itself, no one really knows who coined the concept of the magic angle for the first time. Once you have nailed the magnification and light, as we discussed in previous 3 episodes, it's extremely important now to concentrate on getting great results with that equipment and with that light. And angle is what you're going to bank on. I learned the concept of magic angle from a great macro photographer called John Kimbler. I've given links to his website and his blog post about magic angle in the description. Now here is my description of the way magic angle works in macro photography. By design, your sensor is flat. So your crisp depth of field is going to be a flat surface. And almost all the subjects we are going to shoot, be it a flower, be it an insect, they are generally rounded in nature. Now, the skill lies in using that flat depth of field on a round object to make sure maximum of that subject is in focus, at the same time achieving great composition. Now let's go outdoor and I'll try to show you how to use the magic angle on the field. With magic angle, you should also try one more interesting experiment. You should try to take photo of the same subject from as many angles as possible, front, side or even top. And most importantly, you should try to adhere to the discussion we had on magic angle and you will be fascinated that the results are really awesome. The concept of magic angle is similar to the concept of rule of thirds. It's a rule, it's a guideline. It's really good to learn and then also to break it when the time comes. Now that we have talked about magic angle, let's see how to achieve it. Now let's take an example of a flower. Here we are with some flowers. Now if we approach the flower from the side angle and if we try to take a shot, only a small tip of the flower would be in focus and rest of it would be completely blur. Now it may give good effects, but if the flower is large, only a small tip would be visible and that won't be really a usable shot. Now let's try to change the angle and see what we get. Now the same flower, let's try to tilt it a bit and try to get as much of the flower in focus as possible. Now as you would see, just by changing the angle a bit, we were able to get maximum area of the flower in focus and that gives a really pretty result. When you are shooting insects, it's absolutely important that you get the eye in focus. Once you have the eye in focus, the challenge is how to get the rest of the body in focus. Now it may well happen that you get a perfect shot of eye in focus and a good shot with the rest of the body in focus. But unless you have planned the shots for stacking, both shots would be pretty much unusable. The most effective way I think is to decide your primary focus. So for an insect, the primary focus would always be its eye. For a flower, the primary focus could be the petals, could be internal workings or just a dewdrop on that flower. Once you have decided the primary focus, next comes how do you want to show that area in focus in the context of rest of the subject. Now, for insects, do you want to show the rest of the body or do you want just the eye to stand out? With that logic, for insects, it generally leaves us three angles: front, head on; side, where the eye as well as the whole of the body is in focus; and the third is the top view, which is mostly ignored. Once you have the primary focus, which is an eye for an insect in focus, the next challenge is to get the rest of the body in focus. Now, with the straight head-on shot, it's pretty straightforward. You just go exactly in front, not to the right, not to the left, exactly in front of your insect and take a shot. My most favorite angle is the parallel angle. For that, you need to get the eye as well as the tail, everything in perfect focus. Now, how do we achieve that? To do that, your camera sensor has to be in the same plane of focus as the insect head to toe. Now, it's not very easy to achieve. So, what you can do is to start with the eye in focus. Once you get the eye in focus, slowly move the camera without moving the focus from the eye and try to include as much of the rest of the insect in focus. Once you get the full head to tail in focus, just snap. Now, while you are doing that, you have to also pay close attention to the composition, the rule of third, and do not forget to leave some breathing space in front of the insect as well. Now, all this might sound really complicated, but believe me, it is not that complicated. After a few months of practice, this would come naturally. Now, it so happens that after so many years, it actually becomes difficult for me not to shoot in that magic angle. Now, there is another angle which people usually forget, that is the top view. Now, people are so used to seeing the insect shots from front and from side that you can actually surprise your viewers by taking great shots of a dragonfly or a mayfly from the top angle. But again, the key is to maintain that magic angle, to have the eye as well as rest of the body in perfect focus. Now, in magic angle, you have to also pay close attention to the background. If the background has too much clutter, even though you have taken the perfect magic angle, it may still ruin the shot. So in that case, it may be better to wait or just change the angle from front to side or to the top. When you are starting new into photography, the moment you see an insect, it is very tempting to just go down and take a shot. Now the problem with that is you will generally end up getting 45 degrees to your subject. That way you will hardly get any subject in focus and the angle won't look good. I would say let's avoid that. Now I would say there is definitely a better way. What I would recommend is the moment you see an insect, take a deep breath and try to go to its eye level. The moment you are at the eye level of an insect, the chances of getting a good shot are far higher. Now, it might be a lot of effort to get to the eye level because it might be at the ground or at the top, but believe me, it's totally worth it. If you have liked this video tutorial, feel free to like, subscribe and share. See you for the next episode. Thank you.